Good morning to you all. My study was on the repercussions of cooperative learning on ESL learners' critical thinking ability. So, in this way, critical thinking is generally the analysis of facts to form a judgment, and cooperative learning is a method of combining classroom based education with practical experience by promoting interaction among students. So, the field of English language teaching has incorporated critical thinking as a major factor to gratify the innovations in education. So, the present study aims at investigating the repercussions of cooperative learning on ESL learners' critical thinking ability in the university level. So now let's have a look at our research question. There are two questions, and the first one is there any significant effect of cooperative learning on the critical thinking ability of ESL learners when compared to the non-cooperative learners? And the second question is there any significant interactions between the use of the cooperative learning and proficiency level of ESL students? Thus, our hypothesis is teaching using the cooperative learning method has a significant impact on the critical thinking ability as well as the proficiency levels of the students when compared to the traditional teaching methods. And our objective is to investigate the repercussions of cooperative learning on ESL learners' critical thinking ability. And now let's move to our methodology. So we have divided our students into experimental and control groups, and they were given 10 session treatments where the cooperative methodology was used for experimental group and control group was not given any reference to those skills. We have used 3 types of instruments to assess the influence of cooperative learning on their critical thinking skills, and they are a pre-test and post-test on writing task, a pre-test and post-test on reading task, and a critical thinking questionnaire, particularly 5-point Likert scale critical thinking questionnaire introduced by Honey. An independent sample t-test was used to compare the mean scores of both sets, and mixed method is used to analyze and get the conclusion. Now let's look at the results and discussions of the study. The first two tables show the pair t-test and CI for control and cooperative groups, and the rows indicate reading pre-test, post-test and difference respectively. So the other two tables show the pair t-test and CI for control and cooperative group. The rows indicate the writing pre-test, post-test and differences respectively. So through our results, it is obvious that the cooperative learning technique had a considerable improvement on the proficiency levels of the students when compared to other learning group. Then we have used questionnaire to answer the second question. So in control group, the percentage of agree, which is 4 or 5 point, was 54% in the pre-test, but there was a slight rise in the post-test, which was 60%. In cooperative group, the percentage agree for pre-test was 54%, whereas for the post-test it was 74%. Now, let's have a look at our conclusions. Our analysis indicate that the hypothesis is proved. So, a well-designed framework of cooperative learning can promote a considerable improvement on the proficiency levels of the students and improve the critical thinking ability of the ESL learners, as well as it can be utilized for designing syllabus including critical thinking activities. Further, it should be noted that the present study was confined to a small sample. Further research studies may be necessary to generalize the results to other population groups to examine the impacts on the students with different competency levels and to find out how best to implement the cooperative learning strategies to make sure that the students acknowledge and understand the learning materials. That is the end of our study. So there are some references, and thank you.